We're back. We're so fucking back, bro. We are so fucking back. What's good? I'm over the moon right now. Sure, I'm slumped with a big university and fucking all these responsibilities of being an adult or something. But regardless of anything going wrong in the world, the multiple things going wrong in the world, you must live with a positive outlook. It is all G because the Giants are fucking back, baby. We are back. Better than ever, maybe not better than ever, might not even be properly back, but we won. That's all that fucking matters. I'm gonna run through the rest of the games from last week first, and then we'll get to the most important one that no one seems to have talked about before. Before I do run down through everything, I just want to say that every single fucking talk show, right? Like, I listened to the SEN Kane and Corns thing. Kane and Corns, fucking Kingy and Corns, and a few other things that I like to watch, like even the fucking shout out to the Holding the Bull oddities. That's the best football content ever. Just strange little bits to make you go, yeah, fuck, I remember that. Nothing for the Giants game. Silence. You know, the Gold Coast propaganda was so high that they've ignored the most impressive win of the year, maybe. No, I'm lying. I'm lying through my teeth, but I'm happy about it. So let's roll on to the other shit quickly first. Big implications for a lot of this round. Now, not in big implications for this game, the Friday night game between Essendon and St Kilda, which was kind of a blinder. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty sick. Skill level was on the floor. They're on the fucking floor. And I'm talking from like both teams' best players. They were playing some average footy. Wanganeen-Milera managed to have one of the worst fucking shank. It's not even a shank. He fucked up a set shot where he like tried to play on, ran himself into trouble and instantly turned the ball over from a very gettable kick. Don't really know what he was doing with that one. But then in the same game, he also kicked one of the best fucking centre bounce goals that I've seen all year. It challenges that Harley Reid one for just how much fucking quick he breaks away from the pack, kicks it from outside 50, very clean through, easily clears it. He's a gun. He's a jet, and he's staying, which is cool. So it's good for the Saints that he's staying. You got to be happy about that as a Saints supporter, and honestly, as a fucking neutral, it's kind of sick. I mean, it would be sick if he came to the Giants. He wouldn't even really fit in too well to our structure, and there are a bunch of teams that would have loved having him. But I'm glad he didn't go to fucking Adelaide. If he went to Adelaide, I'm not ready for Adelaide to be fucking that dominant. And Adelaide drama, so much going on. Fuck me, but you know, it's good that he stayed at the Saints. In terms of this game, the Bombers kind of got robbed. They kind of got fucked by the umps in the last couple of minutes. The Tyson Goldstein ruck thing is the weirdest one. The umpire is saying there's no St Kilda ruck. He's saying Mason Wood, no, you can't come in the ruck. And then he jumps straight into the ruck, and the umpire just says play on. Explicitly, that's a free kick. You were saying don't do that, don't do that. You're not allowed to do it. All right, you did it, but we're gonna let that one slide here. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Could have been funner if the umpires were doing their fucking job, which they weren't. So, but I mean, you know, doesn't really cut me too bad. But I feel like they got fucked. There was another one, I think with Goldie as well, getting a rundown tackle. Kind of got fucking stonged. What else can you do? It was good. It was a pretty good game. The other game on Friday night wasn't that good. It was a very important clash between Freo and the Lions fucking pumped them in every facet of the game. I think the Lions were dominant. Without Lachie Neale, what's his fucking name? Oh, it's fucking slipping my tongue. I don't know, put his fucking head up there. They didn't need Lachie Neale. They had everyone standing up. They just looked better. Freo shit the bed. I feel like the same thing happened last year. They were in a really good position, got real close to the finals where they just had to win these couple games. You just gotta win these ones. They didn't win it. It shakes up like belief. And you can tell by John Longmire, like the clips of him during the game, the clips of him where he's like sitting there going, you know, like reacting big. He's disappointed. He's confused. What the fuck are you doing? Win the game. You know, like there was a lack of, not effort, there was just a lack of polish. Bad decisions. Tracy, fucking, what are you doing? Trying to play on when you're 5 meters in front of the goals and then getting run down and fucking, you know, moments like that could have turned the momentum around, could have put a break, a halt on the Lions' onslaught. But no, they just didn't have it. They just didn't have the fucking composure, the cleanliness, the class, you know. And Brizzy looked tough. And like I said, I expected this to happen. I expected the rebound after the prior week. You know, they got to be better than that, and they were better than that. So, Brizzy probably a real final threat. That's all you can say. And yeah, they got fucking shit track record at home, and they've been dropping. I think North, the draw with North looks really bad. They've been dropping a few that like were definitely gettable for them. Not trying to take that away or pretend like that's not the case. They're dangerous, and that sucks because fuck them. But also fuck Freo. And you know, this is good for the Giants. This is the best result we could hope for. So, thanks, boys. Starting off Super Saturday. Is that what the one, or is it Super Sunday? Sunday. I remember fucking sick cunt Saturday. We had the Giants versus the Suns. This was good. This was great. Our keys were good. Toby Green was good. Cornelio was really good. Cornelio had the best game I've seen him play in a while. But the best people on the ground were the young role players, sort of the names you're not gonna know if you're not like following the Giants act. Who the fuck is Harry Ralston? A legend. You know, Max Gruszewski, legend. Gruszki or Gruszewski? Fucking, I don't know. I like our young players a lot. I think that they show a real, not a single one of them, other than maybe Darcy Jones, is an out and out superstar. We don't have a fucking Nick Dacos or a Levi Ashcroft or a Murphy Reed or something like that. We don't necessarily have that. I'd say that Darcy Jones is criminally underrated in the grand scheme of things. People look at him as the kid with the lid and it's lovable and whatever, but I think he is a true full-on fucking serious player that kind of gets overlooked because he's so flashy and he's in moments, don't get me wrong, he's not going to be getting fucking 54 disposals or nothing, but he's just electric. And that's similar to, not similar, but Ralston, moments where, oh yeah, the little lad, this fucking tall, you know, is struggling, not struggling to get a game, but he's fighting for his spot in the side. Yeah, let's kick 4 with a couple from outside 50. O'Halloran kicking up fucking, again, over 50 meter fucking turn on your left foot. He didn't even think it was going through for the goal. But those types of players are really lifting, and I feel like our team is at its best when those role players, they're never gonna get the big fucking central, what am I trying to say? Central is the wrong word. Spotlight. They're never gonna get the spotlight in terms of what they bring or what they do or anything like that. They're not the stars, nothing like that. But when they're operating on a really high level, it brings our keys and our explosive stars up to a standard that is so fucking dangerous. And I think that, yes, the Gold Coast were off this game and Ben Long was getting fucked. I will say that. The umps, they were free kick giants for a little bit. Now, they evened it out and Gold Coast had more free kicks by like 4 or some shit at the end of the game. I feel bad for Ben Long. That descent free, you could tell it was pure frustration, and the free that got given to him was nothing. So there's a little bit of aspect of that, like that defeatist sort of mindset creeping in. You could tell that they were like, that there was big pressure on them, big worries, and they were crumbling to the pressure kind of, which crazy that we did that twice in a row, les Auge. But anyway, the thing for them is that they didn't look dog shit, but I feel like we stifle a lot of what their game revolves around, that run off the half back, that sort of like breaking it open and shit like that. We managed to find flooding runs in patches of the game where it shouldn't. They're a very good defensive team. They're a very good ball catapult movement team, and we managed to shut that down. I feel like our game plan was really well executed and really primed for their game plan. I feel like there's a bit of a masterclass from Kingsley. Adam Kingsley gets underrated in terms of coaches. I'm gonna say it. He sometimes, yes, Luke Beveridge fucking wipes the floor with him every fucking year, but you know, being able to bring very competitive game plans to teams like Brisbane, who we do quite well against, to Geelong, who we do quite well against, to Dimmer, who we do pretty well against as well. Those are some pretty fucking up there coaches in terms of who you look at as, oh, they're the best coaches in the comp. It's definitely, Chris Scott's probably the best one, but Fags is great. Conversational people, we game plan really well against those sides, and we struggle against sides like fucking Melbourne, where their game is not very, I don't know, where there's holes in their game, we struggle, but where it's a complete outfit, we manage to find an exploitation. We manage to be, when we're forced onto, in that challenge, in that back foot thing, we stand up. Never surrender! It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's all G. If it doesn't happen, it's all G, but it's happening. We're so fucking back, and that's all that matters. People are counting us out, and that's fine. Count us out. I like that. I like that underdog story. Alright? I'm fucking charged, lad. Let's go. Oh, fuck. If we lose to fucking St Kilda next week, I might hang myself. After that, we had the first one that I got wrong this week, and I wish I didn't tip. I thought they had one more for Kenny. I thought they did. Who knows? Maybe they might have to do it against whoever the fuck they have next week. That's gonna be rough. I don't think they do. Who they got? Fuck off. They're not beating the Suns, cunt. They're not. So that sucks that Ken's getting fucking walked out like this. I think there's some pain going on at the club. In terms of injuries, you know, Connor Rozier's playing with a fucking broken hand. Horn Francis is gone. There are people on that list that are sore and battered up, but really, they were nothing in this game. Carlton looked pretty good. They came out hungry, and they were clearly trying to prove something with this win. And I think it does come back down to maybe a little bit of, if Vossi did lose this one, it's bad looks. And I didn't necessarily consider how how dire that would have looked. I just thought Port would be able to pull it out, but they really didn't, and Carlton looked pretty good. And Harry Mackay is putting together a nice little bit of form at the moment, you know, one of the soft cunts in the league, you'd think. Sort of watch him, I watch him a lot at least, and think that, like, wow, fuck, if he was just a bit more aggressive, a bit more physical, he'd be quite a dangerous player. And recently he's been, like, adding physicality to his game. His tackle pressure is actually pretty high, which is crazy for a man of his build and stature and his just demeanor. You don't really see him laying big tackles in your brain when you think about it, but like he's pulling some pretty cool shit out, and he's kicking some pretty mad goals. That goal of the year contender that he's got up, I don't know. I think that probably Nass's one for me, I like more. I don't even think that got the nod. And then Paul Curtis's, I think, are both better. But yeah, no, Carlton, give you the flowers. I got that one wrong. Sorry for the disrespect, but you probably still gonna fucking, I don't know. I was gonna talk shit. I don't know who they're playing next week. I haven't done the official tips yet. I'm gonna be doing that live and direct. But after that, we had Hawthorn and Melbourne. Now this did go the way that I sort of thought it would. Hawthorn were pretty dominant the entire day. The biggest takeaway for me is Morgan Gunston kicking 7, I think. Stephen May was made to look a fool. I don't know what he was going for. I don't know, like, there was no body pressure, and Stephen May is huge compared to fucking Gunston. A lot of that body pressure would have been able to knock him out the contest, but he was trying to, like, leave a bit of space and just try compete athletically. It's never gonna fucking happen. And he didn't adjust. The positioning, the leading positioning Gunston was getting into was just pretty elite, which is kind of crazy. You know, he's an old bloke, not old, but you know what I mean, late in his career, and he's having some great form right now. And the Hawks, they do look dangerous. Okay, there's a bit of a hush, a lull on the Hawk hype train, But you know, I might have a ticket to it. I might be a passenger on aboard. They put together compelling victories. That's all I'll say. Again, was just one of those victories you had to get done, and they did it the way that you'd want them to do it. Just be ahead the whole game, be better the whole game. Just own position on the ground, hit 450 targets. That's all you had to do, and they did it. Then the game of the night time, Crows and Collingwood. I told yous, I said it. The Pies were gonna bring it. Now they're bringing the F. Now they didn't get the win, and I think some shit like 10 years or 9 years, Collingwood consistently beating Adelaide was broken. That record was broken. You know, that streak was broken, and Crows got the win at what cost? You know, Rankin's going around calling cunts and getting fucking suspended. Now, I think there's personal shit about probably don't call someone a f***. It's probably not the best thing you can do, especially if your job is a public thing. Like, you can argue football field is not public, but you know, it is. You're a public facing person that is in the spotlight, limelight. These sorts of things get reported. There's clearly been a push in the AFL for a while now to stamp this out of the game, get rid of it. It's going the way of the racist, if you will, which I think is a very good thing. Oh, call me out. What am I, fucking gay? So there's the personal side of why you probably shouldn't use the term, and all of that, all the context around that, without downplaying any of that. For me, the biggest disappointing part of this speaks to a lack of, I don't know what the word is, leadership's the wrong word, but a lack of fucking constraint on yourself, a bit of fucking self-control. So even if, who cares, not who cares, but if you hate fucking gay people, or you just like using insulting words that aren't with PC anymore, whatever, using them on the football field when you're in the best position to be in the finals that your club has been in fucking years, as a player that everyone looks to as that electric game-starting spark winner, and he was in this Collingwood game, literally in this game, was the person that gave the Crows a bit of a spark in that weird fucking stagnant, I think it was the third quarter where there almost wasn't a score for a really long period of time. Don't remember what quarter it was, but whichever it was, Rankin was the one that lit it up, and he's that player. He's that like electricity, that valuable sort of momentum builder that he can do impossible things. Now, regardless of if he's in the team or not, they're a good side without it, is what I'm trying to say there, I guess. But he's important for the team, for the club, for the fans, for all of it. He's very important. And to throw that away for a stupid word, when you can just call him a cunt, you can just call him a dickhead, you can just call him a fuckwit. If you like rolling your Fs, call him a fucking frog or something. You can call him so many different things. Call him a fruit. If you want to even do the little thing, say the one that's not the one that gets you banned for 5 weeks. That's all I'm saying. Again, don't say any of them. Don't be a cunt. Don't be homophobe. Don't be racist. Don't be sexist. Whatever. All of that, yes, 100%. But especially don't do it on a stage where you're letting everyone down. You're letting your club down, your supporters down, your coach down. You know, Matty Nicks is in a bad spot if Adelaide fumble this, and this could fumble it. Not necessarily just because Rankin's not in the fucking team anymore, and they're gonna lose because they don't have one of their best players. Not because of that, but because of the disruption that this does to the mentality, playing group, you know, it causes fucking ripples and waves. We'll have roll-on effects, and those roll-on effects could mean the difference between a pretty fucking like solid, we thought they were definitely the team to beat, probably great chance of grand final winner, to now likely not gonna happen, you know? Well, not likely, but there's massive fucking shaking shit going on. So I think that's bad from him on both levels, on the social level and like the just self-control level. But back to the game itself, pretty good scrap. It was a really good scrap. It was a really good defensive effort. I think the pressure from everyone was really high, and that's the best part of that game, was that it was a really high pressure, intense battle. I think that defensively Collingwood have problems, and offensively, you know, I think Crows literally got less, like Pies doubled the Crows amount of inside 50s to lose. Spinal problems at Collingwood in terms of like the core skeleton of their team. Dan Houston still looks fucking dog shit. Darcy Moore still looks really underwhelming. Bo McCreary coming back, you know, brings a bit of that speed, but it's his first game back. He's not gonna fucking change your team into a quick ball carrying movement team like that. You still don't have Bobby Hill with all the personal shit that he's going on. It's just not a great spot to be in as a Collingwood supporter or the Collingwood club, and that kind of sucks for them. That doesn't take away from the fact that this was a really good performance. They just got beaten by the better side on the night. Home ground advantage, whatever, umpire advantage from Thilthorpe kicking the ball away, all the excuses you want to throw at the wall. But the big thing for me is that Rankin fucked up heavy on that one. So, fuck you can't, don't do that, you dumb fuck. Sunday we had North and Richmond. This was the second one that I got wrong, and I feel like a fucking dickhead because last week I was ready for, I thought Richmond were going to win this. I'm not going to lie, I had full thought. Yes, it was down at Ninja, but the last game that they played, Richmond should have won. I think that Richmond was definitely the better team on that day, and I think that this sounds kind of crazy, but Richmond's been giving more appealing performances in the meantime, in my head at least, and I thought that they'd be able to get it done. There was individual players for Richmond that did really well, but as a team unit, they just crumbled. And as a team, I think North looked a lot better. I think skill error is still a big problem, and decision making is still a big problem. A lot of their leaders stood up. LDU and Sheasel both had blinders. Sheasel tapping tying the all-time disposal record. Fucking Sheezy ball is back in action, being rebranded, it's being reinvented. Kane's Corn taking credit for it. I love it all. But yeah, fucking, they looked good. The one thing that I will say about this is, let's not forget the season they've had. Great win against Richmond, the team that we thought wasn't gonna win a game all year. Now they have won games all year, and they have won good games. Like, you know, they've put on some real good performances that make them appealing as a young side. Fuck, it just gives North another out. It just does. I'm so fucking not happy with their year, and this is a small victory, is sort of the way to look at it. Yes, it was some compelling form, and yes, individual players, Sheasel, LDU, Curtis had fucking an incredible goal. Definite contender for goal of the year. That ankle is still mind-blowing to me. I'm not sold. Their brand didn't look there. Maybe I'm fucking being cynical, but it still kind of looked like they just made it happen, and they found patches where they could just abuse Richmond's weak defense on the day, and they got it done. They got it done convincingly, and good on them, and I'm happy for their supporters, and I'm happy that they got the win. But I was just ready to fucking tear in a clutch, and maybe that might have to be an end of season thing when I can look back at it all comprehensively. They did it, good on them. Like, once they started to build that momentum and sort of break away, they continued to break away. And that's the thing that they need to sort of get. They need to instill that type of winning culture. We can put teams away, we can keep pushing, we can bury someone, and they did that. So hopefully this is a turning point, but all I'm saying is that I've said that every single game they've won this year. So yeah, but the rest of the day was kind of boring. Sydney and Geelong started really competitive. I believe it was right before half time. Heaney got fucking bullshit. One umpire called holding the ball to give Heaney the free kick, and the other umpire from down the field said it was a high tackle. Heaney cracked the shit and like went over to the ump at half time, like as they're walking off the field, and was like, what, it was fucking me, like what the fuck am I meant to do? That was kind of the first time I've seen Heaney get that like angry and lose his shit in the moment with the umpiring especially. He's normally very composed and just cops it on the chin even when it is a bullshit decision, which it was. But after that, and I don't know if it is that, but his leadership seemed to slip away a little bit, like his on-field leadership, and they just slipped away as a team, and Geelong got the job done pretty comfortably, as I expected they would. It was a danger game for them, but they looked really good at patches. They started slow, they did start slow. Sydney were better at moving the ball around the ground, but they managed to work around it. They came back and they got out to a massive fucking lead. So, but the last game of the round we had West Coast and the Eagles. No, no, fuck. Well, we did have West Coast Eagles, but they were playing the Bulldogs, and the Dogs pumped them. And I didn't think that the Eagles would be able to put 2 compelling weeks of form like that into a row, especially away from home against the Dogs. You know, it wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen. And the Dogs, again, pummel a low ladder team. It would be nice if they started doing that to other top sides other than us, so that we don't look like the quality of those low ladder teams. But take it a bigger stick. All of the father-sons, they were going ballistic, and that was the big narrative story around it. Good on them, happy for it, but not too much in this again. But let's do the tipping for next week. As I said, I've been pretty busy, so I fucking, I haven't, to be honest, haven't fucking done the tips for next week yet, but I'll lock them in right now with yous. So, yeah. Essendon and Carlton at the MCG. I'm gonna go Carlton by 13. Oh, do I dog the Blues again and look like an idiot for tipping the wrong team? Nah, fuck it. Carlton put some good form up last week. They put some good form up. I think they'll get it done again. I think this will be a very competitive game though, and I do want to say that there is a chance that Essendon kick straight, they're gonna win this game. That's my tip for it. If Essendon kick straight, they'll tip it, but I don't think they kick straight. They just fucking can't for whatever reason. Missing the easiest fucking set shots of all fucking time. They get it in their forward very often and like in good spots. Their forwards just can't fucking kick. And that's my tip for that. I'm tipping Carlton. 2 goals is probably the margin that I'm going to go with. But in saying all of that, I do think that Essendon are in a good position to sort of shake up something here, make a bit of an upset with the odds at least. Friday, we got Pies and Melbourne at the G. I'm going to go the Pies. I do think they get that done. They need to get it done. If they lose this game, it's losable, don't get me wrong, but if they lose this, surely, right? Surely is sort of the way I look at it. Melbourne just haven't been able to do much this year. They played a really good game against the Pies the first time they versed this year. I think King's Holiday or whatever the fucking public holiday game that they have is. They did play well in that, but I don't think that they play that well again. Well, maybe I don't know, but I think the Pies get it done. That's right. On the same night later on, we've got Port and the Suns at Adelaide Oval. The Suns will win it. They're not gonna let what happened last week like define them. It is a similar thing to where I feel, dude, they got pumped by fucking, was it Adelaide? They got pumped by a good team and then beat Brisbane the next week. And I think that is going to happen again, where they got disappointingly beaten by us and it was a disappointing performance on their part, and they're going to go ahead and retaliate. What the fuck is the response? Make it have a good response. But yeah, I'm comfortable with saying that the Port's not going to be able to get that one up. But you'd want them to. You'd think that it's possible, but I don't know. I just don't see it happening, and I think that the Port train has sort of left the station there. But I'm happy with tipping the Suns on that. Crows are North at Marvel. The tip is that North give them a shake. Give them a shake. Maybe they're up by the end of fucking quarter time, but the Crows will win that one. But there might be a bit of feist in it. I could see it being a bit spiteful for whatever reason. West Coast did a real good job at keeping the Crows at bay and out pressuring them. North will be riding a bit of a high. I think it'll get there'll be a bit in it at the start. It could get a bit violent, and I'm looking forward to that if it happens. That's my hope and prayer prediction on that one. But it could be a good game. The Crows are definitely gonna win, but it could be a good game. Cats and Richmond at the MCG. I'm gonna go with the Cats for that one. There's not too much to say for this. You tip the Cats against most good sides. You tip them against Richmond in this prediction. Predicament is the word I meant, and prediction, they both work, but predicament is what I meant to say. Then we got the Swans and Eagles at Optus. Interesting game. I'm gonna go with the Swans, but this again could be one of those sneaky fun games. Saturday kind of sucks. None of these games mean too much, unless there's a massive upset, but you got the bottom 3 sides taking on so I was gonna say top of the crop, and they got the Swans there, but fucking, you know what I mean? Like their top table versus low table, this day sucks, and the Swans are gonna probably beat West Coast, but they again could be an interesting one, but I think the Swans take that one out. Sunday we got Giants versus Saints. I'm taking the Giants, of course. I think that when we played them early in the year, our victory was really comprehensive. I think that we got our run really locked down. I think that we really did, and that was on that really narrow oval as well. This is at NG, so a bit more comfortable at home. I think we're the better outfit, and I think that we get it done. I'm not saying there's going to be an easy game. It's definitely not a walk in the park. Some sort of people are talking about it as if it's a layup. They have a chance to do damage to us, and if they can defensively stop our momentum from starting, if they can scrap out like a slow building lead and just keep us slow, then that could make it interesting. But I think that we get it done. I think we have to get it done as well. I know we've locked in an 8th spot. I don't think mathematically we can drop out of the 8, but in saying that, I think that we really fight for this one. I think we treat this as a final just as much as the week prior. It's do or die time, and I think we're doing. I don't want to die. It's all G if we do. Please no. Dogs and Dockers. Jam, Sundays, pump it. Our game's a nice easy one to start it off, but then we got the Dogs and the Dockers. I was about to say this is the most important game of the round, and I'd still argue it maybe is, but for a different reason than the one following, but I'll get to that later. And right now, Dogs and Dockers are at Marvel. I'm leaning the Dogs, right? There is a chance that Freo bog this game up and win. That type of controlling footy that stops the Dogs' momentum and stifles their sort of relentless attack where the Dogs like to get into a shootout, and against better shootout teams, which we are, so I don't know why the fuck they pump us so bad every time. Their midfield just tears us apart. The Dogs like to get into a shootout, and if you're in a shootout with Freo, they're gonna win. The Dogs will win, sorry. Like if that's how the game is, if the game's on the Dogs' terms, Freo has, I don't think, too much for that. If Freo can sort of arm wrestle that away from the Dogs and force them to play a bit of a different brand, it could get interesting. I see a world where Freo win this. They're fighting for a spot in the 8. This is the make or break. I think the Dogs get it. It's crazy that Freo could have finished top 4 and now are not making the 8, provided they lose, but I think the Dogs make an aggressive push here. They're gonna try going into this with what they did in 2016, 2015, what year was it, where they fucking won from outside the top 4? They're the team that's done it recently, so they know it's possible, so they're gonna put themselves in a position to try do it again. They didn't have the best year in terms of position on their ladder. I feel like their victories were really dominant, but just those victories weren't against the top of the crop apart from us, but I feel like this will be a difference where they can get this one done. That's all we tip on it, and I think that it is an important game. It's a shaping game of what the finals look like. Which team would I rather in the finals? I don't know. Like in my head, I'm like, well, Freo seems easier to beat, but I think, well, both teams kind of fuck us up. Did we beat Freo? We kicked Freo out of the finals last year. Pretty sure. From memory. Could be wrong. But I don't think we have the best matchup against them. But I don't want to come up against the Dogs in a final at all. That scares the fucking pants off of me. But I think that Freo lose this one, and it probably will be the Dogs making it. But then the game after that, Lions and Hawks at the Gabba, I don't know. I don't fucking know. The Gabba factor is obviously going to lean with Brisbane, but they haven't been playing that crazy there, and I don't know the form off the top of my head when these two teams come together. Can't even fucking think back to the last time they played, to be real. I'm gonna do an upset tip, and I'm gonna tip the Hawks. Lockie Neal's not back. The Hawks are in some good form. Oh, this is it. Fuck. I'm tipping the Hawks, and that's the heart. That's not head. I don't know. I got a feeling. You know? A little thing in my stomach telling me that the Hawks, it's a bit of a statement game. You know, this massively matters for the top 4. Yeah, it's a shaping game for the top 4. And then they're doing it this week, but like next Wednesday there's a game between the Suns and Essendon at the People's First at Suns home ground. Suns are gonna win that one. That's the one where they're gonna try percentage boost their way into top 1, which is impossible, but they might mathematically do it. And that's all for this week. You know, I'm really looking forward to the end of the year wrapping up. I'm gonna go back in the break once the year's done and the ladder has solidified itself. I will look back at the ladder predictor thing that I did at the very start. There'll probably be a week in there where I'm just talking about sort of like what I think the finals will look like, and then maybe in that break week before the granny, I'll do some like overarching season thing and a predictor before the big day. But holy fuck, it's getting tense, isn't it? Overall, this season hasn't been the most exciting season, and it really shaped up sort of towards the end where that top 9 got really tight for a while, and now a couple of weird results have shaped things, and there's been lots of interesting narratives coming out of the top table, like teams. There's a lot of them, like Collingwood is like the one where you're thinking like, what the fuck's going here? Adelaide is another one where it's like this could spell the end of their mentality going forward. Brisbane have been shown to be very gettable at times. The Suns have been shown to be gettable. We've been shown to be gettable. Cats kind of are just solid. Like maybe they're a little sneaky one. The Hawks, again, they're a very fun team trying to bring a bit of that energy back into it. It's a pretty competitive like top end right now. The middle of the table teams have been underwhelming as fuck. You know, and then you get towards the end of the bottom of the ladder and you start thinking about fucking how dire things are getting. That's sort of the weird part where it's like some teams, holy fuck, they're in the shit, and other teams, they could be setting up for dynasties here. They could fucking set themselves up to be the next two in a row sort of thing. Brisbane are going for 2 in a row. Like, it feels very separated in terms of quality. Good and bad at either end of the table. Usually how it goes, but you know, I feel like it's exemplified this year. There's like that middle of the crop group is towards the bottom. The actual middle is split between teams that are there and not there. And I think the Dogs is the cutoff if you look at the ladder. Anyway, I'm saying fucking bullshit. I got food in the oven. I got university to do. I'm gonna headbutt the camera to go away. Bang!